Roar, I'm a monster. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Monstrum. This is another part of our 2024 Halloween special. And this time we are going to South Korea for our next trip around the world with these horror films. So, Monstrum is a movie I know pretty much nothing about. um, I know I know it's South Korean, obviously. I know it's a monster movie. Also makes sense with the title Monstrum. And that's pretty much it. I don't know anything else. I don't know if there's any actors I would know in this. Probably not, just because I don't know a lot of South Korean actors. I don't know if there's like anything more to this story. I don't know anything about like the plot or anything like that. All I know is it's a horror film. It's about an hour 45 minutes long, and monster. Or maybe monsters, I don't know. Um so I don't know what to expect really going into this. I've seen various South Korean pieces of media and everything, to obviously varying degrees. And I really do think that they can really do horror and some really interesting concepts extremely well. I just, I don't know what to expect with this specifically. You know what I mean? It's like very specifically. Um, I don't expect this to be like other South Korean horror movies I've seen necessarily, like Train to Busan or hashtag Alive or anything like that. I expect it to be its own thing, and I also expect it to kind of try out some different maybe filming techniques than those other movies do. I want it to be I want it to be like stand out. I don't want it to just be the same thing over and over again. And that goes for any movies I see from anywhere, even here in America. I want any movie I see to do things differently, to experiment. And I'm really hoping it does that here. Um, Also, I have no idea what like kind of technology they would use for monsters in this. Like, are they going to go practical? Are they going to go CG, a blend? There's so many different options. It would be just fucking funny though if they went with like stop motion. That would be amazing. That would be so fucking hilarious. But also really cool because stop motion is really fucking cool. Um, I guess we're just gonna get into this and see. South Korea's given us some pretty great stuff, and let's hope this joins that, you know, Hall of Fame, I guess you could call it. Let's just get this going. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions, with two on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. And don't forget all of the awesome gaming content we have on the Princess of Gaming channel. We have Baldur's Gate 3 every single day, Horizon Forbidden West every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have Beyond Two Souls on Wednesdays and Sundays, and on Saturdays we have Poppy Playtime. And don't forget to follow the link in the description below to today's reaction. I redirect all reactions just due to copyright, you know how it is. And on top of that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video for more awesome content such as this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get started on today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Sorry for the lighting. Like I said in the reaction, it's this time of day and all. Because we're getting later into the year, the sun sets earlier and it comes through the window, and it's annoying. So sorry about that. I wish I could get to recording earlier, but it's not always that easy for me. Anyway, let's talk about that ending. Because it's absolute bullshit. The absolute ass pull that they did there to convince us that he would have survived that is dumb. Like, even if you want to believe, okay, he used the rope and the hitch or whatever to yoink himself up, and the explosion knocked him through that cell and everything. It's like, with as much explosives as there were there, and as much of a forceful impact explosions cause, it's like, even if he was knocked away, it's like the force at which he was knocked through that cage door would have destroyed him. Like, at the very, very least, it would have shattered his bones, including his ribs, which would have probably punctured his lungs and heart. He would be dead. He would absolutely fucking be dead. They just wanted to give a happy ending after everything, where all the bad guys die, the good guys survive and win. Sparkles, Monstrum is taken out as well. But it feels cheapened with this bullshit ending. As does the entire concept of his noble sacrifice in the first place. He was doing this entire noble sacrifice, like, to save those he cared about and all, and to stop Sparkles from, wreaking havoc on innocent people. Having him survive that just takes away from the entire sacrifice as a whole. This is going to feel like a really weird comparison, but let me compare this movie to the finale of Gravity Falls. The finale of Gravity Falls is phenomenal. One of the best series finales I think I've ever seen. But one part that has always bothered me about it is the fact that it cheapens itself with a fake self-sacrifice. It is one of the worst decisions that the series ever made, and it cheapens what is otherwise a phenomenal finale. And at this point, with how long it's been since Gravity Falls has ended, I feel like I can just give away the ending. But if you really want to avoid spoilers, general thoughts, I mostly love this movie. It was a phenomenal film that I think was really well done with its effects, its story, its historical relevancy, and its theming centered around what it was actually trying to say with all of this monster stuff. So there's just a general non-spoiler thoughts here, but if you're okay with hearing Gravity Falls spoilers at this point, we're going to be good at that now. So, at the end of Gravity Falls, in the finale, the main villain of the series, Bill Cipher, is defeated by Grunkle Stan. Grunkle Stan hatches a plan to trick Bill to enter his mind, making Bill think it was his twin brother, Ford. Bill enters his mind, find out it's really Stan instead of Ford, and at that point, Stan's mind is erased using the Society of the Blind Eyes memory erasing gun. And because of this, everything in his mind, which includes Bill at this point, is erased as well. Unfortunately, this leaves Stanley without any memories. His memories are gone, but Bill is defeated, and killed. It was a very noble self-sacrifice of Stan choosing to do the right thing for those he cared about, for his family, his grandniece and grandnephew, as well as his brother, who he did have some, trouble with, but had overcome that at the end. It was an amazing sacrifice that showed his character. And then it was ruined because they brought his memory back. They were able to jog his memory, which shouldn't be possible, by the way, through reading some memories from Mabel's scrapbook. His memory was, entirely deleted. It's not like it was just locked away. You can't jog a memory that doesn't exist anymore. So it's like, not only did that just not make any sense, but on top of it, it entirely cheapened his self-sacrifice. It made it so that his self-sacrifice really didn't mean anything. Yeah, it defeated Bill, but in the end, it just wasn't as impactful and powerful because in the end, he didn't actually sacrifice anything. It was just entirely a ruse, basically. And because of this, it didn't work. It was the one part of the finale that didn't work. The entire rest of the finale was phenomenal, and this one issue didn't ruin the entire finale, just like this issue at the end of Monstrum doesn't ruin this entire film. But it is a problem. This ass-pull of an ending with him surviving is entirely unbelievable. They even tried to explain it, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. He would not have survived that. They just wanted to force a happy ending. And it cheapens his self-sacrifice. Even though Monstrum Sparkles was defeated, it still cheapens the sacrifice. And honestly, the old man's sacrifice ends up meaning more. The old man who raised Sparkles and everything, his sacrifice to let them escape and all, while he locked himself in the cage with Sparkles and sacrificed his life to do so, that self-sacrifice actually meant more because he was dead. He stayed dead. It was actually a more meaningful and powerful self-sacrifice than, the actual main character of the movie sacrificing himself to save his daughter, his brother, the people of the kingdom, everyone. That's not great. When a minor side character's self-sacrifice is more powerful than the main character's, that's not the best thing to do. And it really sucks. But like I said, it doesn't ruin the entire film, because the rest of this movie is honestly fantastic. It's really well done. Again, the effects on Monstrum, especially because a lot of the movie is at night during the dark, you aren't able to see some of the possible issues with the effects and everything, and it makes it work better because of that. The acting was all good. And I like that this is a kind of a period piece as well. And the king, by the way, was a real king. He was a real king in real life. The actor who portrayed him was obviously just an actor, but this was a real period of time with an actor portraying a person who did exist in real life. So that's really interesting in and of itself. But yeah, it's the effects, the direction. There were some choices they made that were interesting. This came out in 2018, and even then, some of the slow-mo shots and all were a little outdated, it felt. But again, that's just a minor thing. That doesn't ruin the movie. I really like the way Monstrum moved, if that makes any sense. I feel like its movements were very realistic for what this creature looked like and acted like. Like, I feel like a creature like that would move in that way, if that makes any sense. I don't know how else to explain that, but it just felt very satisfying. Um, I like that there was the political drama and intrigue thrown into this with the prime minister trying to usurp the throne. Normally, I would feel like that could be a little too much to also throw into what is a monster movie. But the best monster movies have always had like touches on topics like that. This one obviously touching on corruption and and distrust and everything um, within a kingdom and its leadership. But like you even go back to the monster movie Godzilla, and it's like it's a take on the struggles of people dealing with the atomic bomb. Monster movies say things. They have commentary. This isn't new. And that's why it works here, because it's like not only is this just common for monster movies, but it was well handled. It was well written and directed. It never felt like it was overstaying its welcome or out of place. And I even love that, like, for the first, like, half of the movie, maybe a little bit more than half, you don't even know if Monstrum is real. We're kind of, like, taking on this ride of, like, uncertainty with that, and even led to believe after a certain point that the prime minister made the entire thing up. But then when the reveal happens, it is such a good reveal. It's the exact right time it should happen. And on top of that, it's just really well done. It's like a great scene with the directing and the acting of the characters in that moment. It's so good. Like, I really was impressed by that. And yeah, I like the action in it. I like that there was comedy injected into this. And I like the relationship that these three family members had. Our main character, his brother, and his daughter. I think that they all had great chemistry on screen, and even bringing in the love interest for the girl, which is maybe a little unnecessary. I think he was a fun, nice, good character too. I liked him. So even though maybe the love interest angle was a little unnecessary, he wasn't a waste of a character. He was still entirely likable. And the Emperor himself was very likable. He was a good king and everything. And we had good villains with the leader of the Tiger Group. And then, of course, the Prime Minister himself, who was scummy as fuck in the best way. Like, he should be scummy as fuck, and he was scummy as fuck. Again, great effects with like explosions and whatnot. Great action sequences with like arrows and sword fights and martial arts. It was just really well done. Monster movies aren't usually necessarily my favorite genre of horror. There's always exceptions, of course, like certain Godzilla movies I just really love, like minus one in terms of more recent. But usually monster movies aren't always my favorite just in general compared to a lot of other subgenres of horror. But this one just really did well. Outside of that ending, it really did well. And I was excited the entire way through. And the interesting thing is it kind of makes you feel a little sad for Sparkles. Like, yeah, this is a rampaging monster out of control, but he wasn't always that way. At one point, he was just a little baby. And this was honestly the most on the nose part of the movie with its messaging and all. When the old man is like, um, we made the monster and everything. Like, Sparkles ate the plague infested corpses and all. It's like we're the reason behind him becoming Monstrum and all. It's like it was very on the nose. Very on the nose. Like, I would have figured that anyways. You didn't need to spell it out for me. But yeah, it's definitely commentary on the monsters that we form, quote unquote monsters, using more like using the term less literally here, of course. Um, but the monsters we create through like horrible actions and doctrines and whatnot, these metaphorical monsters created through like horrible leadership and betrayals and just terrible people being allowed to, enact terrible things upon the world. I'm not great at wording this, but you know what I mean, hopefully. It's it's a very metaphorical take on things, showcased through a more literal take on monsters. And I think it gets the point across. It may not be as, smooth with it as something like Godzilla is with its commentary on nuclear bombs and all, but I still think it's handled extremely well compared to other things I've seen that are just even more on the nose and just not good for it. Execution is everything, and I think this was executed wonderfully. Not my favorite movie that I've seen in terms of horror lately, but I gotta give it the credit where it's due. Even if that ending was bullshit, the rest of the movie as a whole was still phenomenal. Um, but tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Monstrum? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? What did you think of that ending ass pull? Let me know down below. And just as a reminder, next week on Halloween Day is our final Halloween special of the year. In terms of our journey around the world in horror, we're going to America. We've been all over the world, and now we're coming back home to the good old US for a good, friendly first purge. Y'all excited to see how the Purge series started, chronologically speaking? Um, I definitely am. I really enjoy this series, and I'm really excited to see the next one. Because the last one showed the final purge with election year, which is ironic. We watched election year last year, but this year's an election year. Wasn't timed out perfectly there, but oh well. But now we get to go back to the beginning and see how the purge started and see like the very first year of it. So that should be interesting. But that being said, we will talk more about that when we get to that next week. For now, like I said, let me know your thoughts on Monstrum. I'm Connie. I'm signing off. See y'all next time.